Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, the number one network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the number one sports show in the universe, according to Big C and the good old boys down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America, also across the pond in London, England, as well as Paris, France, and of course you good old boys in Canada. You know we love you in Canada. Today is a beautiful September 29th, 2017 in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Big C, how's it going for you good old boys down south?
Charlton, it's doing wonderful. I was sitting out there in one of those deer crossers last night, and I guess the deer must have ran into my truck.
Yeah.
But, we got him in the smoker and everything. We're getting ready for the tailgate tomorrow, so we're going to have a wonderful, fulfilling day.
Yeah, that's funny. I think it's a shame those Animal Crossing signs are more prominent in the South than they are here. And there's still a debate. Is it for the people or is it for the animals? It's like this debate about standing or kneeling for the national anthem. Some people don't believe in Animal Crossing signs, Big C. They think it's an unfair advantage, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, it lets them know where to come. That way it saves me on gasoline and costs like this. I'm not worried about being off-road, running up the insurance on my truck or anything like that,
Yeah.
Charlton. But, it's fulfilling. After a night of barbecue and smoked meat on Saturday, I get back and be ready for Sunday.
That's always good. Big C, a lot of things going on in the world of sports. We have the WNBA. They're all tied up. That series is going at 2-2 now, so it's good. Actually, one apiece in that series, so it's good games. Both games have been decided by a basket, so that's good basketball being played there in Major League Baseball. We're coming on in the final week of Major League Baseball. Your good old boy Stanton, you think he's going to get to 60 before the regular season's over, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, if they pitch to him, he will reach that 60 mark, and I think that'll make him about the 10th player that has hit 60 home runs in Major League history. And it's always a benchmark. Everybody talks about Maris, saying his 61 is a legitimate, but, Barry Bonds has 73, which is a record. And everybody can talk about whatever era somebody hit a home run in.
Yeah.
But the thing you have to look at, Charlton, the African-American, the Negro League was omitted from all these major league records because the true records are held by a lot of African-American players, Charlton. Josh Gibson, allegedly hit 82, 85 home runs one season. So,
wow.
This is not in the record books because they didn't keep records of the African-American Negro League players, Charlton. So everybody has the record that they want in their mind. We know that legitimately Barry Bonds hit 73.
Yep.
We know that Maris hit 61. Sammy Sosa eclipsed that twice.
Yeah.
Mark McGwire also eclipsed that, Charlton. But, records are meant to be broken.
Yeah.
And fans are, around to be fans of a sport.
Yeah.
What Stanton is doing is great for baseball. They set an all-time home run, single-season record for the major leagues this year. Yeah. And that's what brings fans into the ballpark. No one really enjoys seeing a 1-0 game any longer.
Yeah, that's very true, Big C. I do want to say this segment is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them Charlton and Big C sent you. Big C, a lot of things happening in the world of sports. Obviously had that big game last night up in Green Bay. That was actually rain delayed. I thought the thing about football players play in the mud, they play in the snow, they even play in the rain, but nobody plays in lightning, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, you didn't have to worry about anybody paying their power bill last night in Green Bay with the light storm that was going on in the sky, and I've been in a couple of those situations, Charlton, and it's breathtaking and it's also scary at the same time. I was in a stadium one night where a lightning rod hit the power standard there at the end of the stadium. Yeah. And the temperature on the field probably went up, Charlton, about 30 degrees in a second.
Oh, yeah.
And, everybody exited. And, knocked out the power in the stadium for about 45 minutes till the power company could get it back on. But, it's one of those things that's not safe. When you think about all the metal, especially in Green Bay, they still have the bleachers. Yeah. In that stadium, you got the metal handrails to help people guide up and down the aisleways as they rise up and down in the stadium. So, it's for the safety of the fans as well as the players that you suspend the game in that situation. But nevertheless, Green Bay broke the tie, against the Bears. They up 96-95. Yeah. With 6 ties all times in that series, the longest running series in NFL history, Charles.
Yeah, it's amazing. So obviously good football up in Green Bay. And when they talk about the stand, will people leave or will they not go? I think that stadium was full last night. At the end of the day, people want to see good entertainment. Big C, in the world of college football, it's still weird to me. I know why they do it, because of money, but to have college football played on Friday night when a lot of high schools around the country are doing their homecoming games, and they want to have the homecoming king and the homecoming queen. But sometimes people are turned because they're going to stay home and watch college football. We have Miami at Duke. Miami's ranked number 13 in the country. They're 2-0. Duke is 4-0, and that's a surprise to a lot of people. That game's on at 7 p.m. ESPN. And I want to ask you that last year when they had the game, it may have been a year ago, but Miami had like 7 laterals on the field, and they went kind of like the game with Buffalo and Tennessee back in the day in the playoffs. Well, they had the
more like Cal and
yeah, Cal and Stanford.
Yeah, the big game.
Yeah, the big
In
game.
the 80s, Charlton. I think it was around 81,
yeah.
82.
Yeah,
when Cal and Stanford, the band was on the field.
The band came on the field. Joe Starkey, the great broadcaster in the Bay Area, had that broadcast. But I did see about 2 clips from the Miami game when they beat Duke. Big C, who needs replay when it doesn't matter anyway? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, that was tremendous ball handling. You thought the Globetrotters were out on the field playing football instead of basketball. That ball went every direction except to the final part where it went to the end zone. But, you know, this is what they talk about. You play to the final whistle in sports. And football is one of those games. And we've seen a lot of football games over the past couple of decades that have ended in some miraculous plays with laterals and things of that nature, Charlton.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is a game in the ACC that, you know, Miami's in this rebuilding phase with Mark Richt, who was a former University of Georgia coach who went back to his alma mater at Miami.
Yeah.
And it seemed to turn the program around, Charlton, has it in the right way.
Yeah.
David Cutcliffe, you know, this quarterback guru who coached Peyton Manning when he was at the University of Tennessee, and he runs a quarterback camp every year with the Manning brothers down in Carolina. But Cutcliffe has always been known for his handling of quarterbacks. He's done a tremendous job, Charlton. He resurrected this Duke program from the ashes. And now have them with national prominence. Last year, they even knocked off Notre Dame with a freshman quarterback.
Yeah, they're a very good team. 2 great programs in the day. Back in the day, Nebraska 2-2 at Illinois 2-1, and that gave them Fox Sports 1. BYU 1-3 on the season at Utah State. That's 2-2. That game will decide who's going to be happy in the state of Utah. I want to ask you about the big game. Tonight is Southern California, ranked number 5 in the country. They're 4-0 in the season. They're at number 16, Washington State, 4-0. Now, I know Southern Cal's schedule's been tougher. They've beaten very athletic teams in Western Michigan, Stanford, and also Texas, and then Cal Berkeley on the road. Now they're on the road again up in the Palouse, where no one really loves to go. They only have about 36,000 fans there. That sells out at 35, but they have overflow crowd tonight. We're going to see 2 quarterbacks that are Pac-10 favorites. I think Falk will throw for more yards at the end of the season. But, you know, the kid down at USC, everyone's crowned him for the Heisman Trophy. I just want to get your thoughts on this game. USC's actually favored by 3 on the road. That game's tonight at 10:30 ESPN, Eastern Coast time start. Big C, your thoughts?
Charlton, this is a story of 2 ascending quarterbacks. You got them ascending in different directions.
Yeah.
You know, Donald came into the season as the preseason Heisman favorite.
Yeah.
But he's averaging 2 interceptions a game, Charlton, and his numbers have not blown anybody away.
No.
You know, he's been forced to throw the ball more than people expected, and he's probably playing against the best passer in the Pac-12. Is it Pac-12 13?
Is the Pac-12? Pac-12, Big C. Pac-16 coming soon.
Okay. But Luke Falk, Charlton, this kid has 103 career touchdown passes at Washington State. He's 2 behind Marcus Mariota, and I believe about 8 behind Barkley. Matt Barkley at USC.
Yeah.
But, you know, last week he came off a 6 touchdown performance against Oregon State. So he has the hot hand. Washington State, this is one of those catch games, and if you always remember, if you look at USC, even back when Pete Carroll was there, they have a tendency to lose a game on a Thursday or Friday night.
Yeah.
When they had to travel up to the Northwest. They got knocked off several years ago by Oregon State.
Yep.
When they were the number 1 team in the country, and they've lost to Washington up there, Charlton, when they were undefeated. So this is one of those games that USC, if it's not a sunny Saturday afternoon, they tend to get in trouble. But I do like what Washington State done. Mike Leach has done a tremendous job at the head coach of this program up there in Pullman.
Yeah.
You know, you got to fly into Spokane. You got to get on a bus and ride up like 95 miles to get to Pullman. So you're a little tired when you get there, a little cramped up on the bus with all those big linemen.
Yeah.
And you think about it, USC is without their number 1 tailback.
Yeah.
Their starting left off at the tackle. Their top pass rusher, and their top linebacker. So this is a catch game for USC. They're primed for Washington State, and if Washington State wins this game, Charlton, this is not an upset. You're going to see the best throwing quarterback in the country tonight in Luke Falk for Washington State.
Yeah, I definitely believe that it's going to be a high-scoring game, and the team that scores, obviously, that controls the clock is going to do that. It's just going to be a great game. I think the country will see two of the great quarterbacks in the country. They're going to be way up in the Northwest. Big C on Saturday, where a lot of football games should be played. Of course, Northwestern 2-1, and they're at number 10, Wisconsin 3-0. That game's on ABC Sports. Wisconsin's favorite by 14. I just want to bring up number 17, South Florida 4-0. They're at East Carolina 1-3. But I look at what Strong has done since being fired by Texas. South Florida's ranked in the top 17. They're favored by 23 on the road. And I just want to get your thoughts on what Strong has done with the great athletes down in Florida. He also had them at Texas, but he seems to have more of the backing from the boosters down in Florida that he never really got down there with the good old boys in Texas. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, you know, it goes all the way back, Charlton, when he was at the University of Florida, coaching with Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
Prior to getting the head coaching job at Louisville, he was able to recruit his own kids.
Yeah.
And when he was at Louisville, he had a heavy-laden Southern roster for players from Georgia and players from Florida like he would recruit when he was at the University of Florida. He went to Texas, and there everybody figures you have to recruit local. You got to bring in all the local kids from the state because they're so rich in athletic talent. But Charlton, they don't have that mentality that Charlie Strong was looking for.
Yeah.
That unselfishness as a player.
Yeah.
He went back to Florida, in Central Florida to his stomping ground.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He relates better with the players from that geographic area, Charlton, and they bought into him. He came in. He had a resume. National championships at the University of Florida as a defensive coordinator.
Yep.
Going to Louisville, bringing that program from nowhere, after Bobby Petrino had left.
Yep.
And building it up, had it prominent nationally. But he went to Texas.
Yep.
And he had abrasiveness the whole time. You had it from a lot of boosters who didn't want a black head coach there in Texas, Charlton.
That's true.
You had a lot of good old boy players who had been there because their daddies had been there, and their uncles had been there, and said that's not the way we had done things in the past. Well, that's the reason why you lost also.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have the people that you were playing against in the past.
That's a very good
point.
point.
But you got to praise Charlie Strong. African-American coaches get such a tough ride and a short leash when they go to university.
Yeah.
But here it is. He's 4-0. He has his team ranked in the top 25. I forget what Texas was ranked the last time I looked.
But, they're not ranked.
You really like Charlie Strong's program.
Yeah.
He's been a proven winner in the past, Charlton. And being in the right climate, he's a winner once again.
I tell you, that's a very good point, Big C. It's something about not getting support from your boosters. You go where you're appreciated and the players are playing for them. Look at Georgia, number 8 in the country, 4-0 on this season, and they're going to challenge Alabama at the end. They're at Tennessee 3-1. Tennessee's not ranked for some reason, losing to a close game last second play to Florida. That's a 3:30 start on CBS Sports, and Georgia's favored by 8. I want to ask you, are they really able to cover 8 at Tennessee, Neyland Stadium, 100,000 plus? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, they really can. If you think about Tennessee, they're lucky to have only one loss in their opening game against Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
They had to come from behind and win in overtime.
Yeah.
They were very fortunate because Georgia Tech dominated that game.
Yeah.
But see, this is the same thing they're going to face against Georgia, Charlton, a dominant running game with a dual-headed running back. They have a freshman quarterback who has been a good game manager.
Yeah.
And so they're not going to have any problems with him taking chances. Kirby Smart has done a tremendous job. If you look at Georgia, Charlton, their defense is starting to resemble a lot the Alabama defense, where he had coached for a decade with Nick Saban down there and brought that same mentality and same scheme to the University of Georgia. Bruce Davis, for some reason, he loses the games that you don't expect him to lose.
Yeah.
It's almost like Bob Stoops. He has that Bob Stoops mentality that was at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That he always finds a way to lose the critical game that knocks them out of the hunt and contention for a conference championship, Charlton.
When you think about championships, you have Iowa 3-1 at Michigan State, 2-1. That game's on Fox at 4 o'clock, and that's going to be on Saturday. A big game in the Pac-12, not necessarily because they're going to win a championship, but Arizona State, which has just been a talented but fledgling program, knocked off Oregon last week. They're 2-2 on the season. They're at Stanford under David Shaw, also 2-2. But Stanford's lost 2 games to undefeated USC and undefeated San Diego State. And that's the Pac-12 network at 4 o'clock p.m. Stanford's favored by 17.5 points on the farm. Do you think that's too much? 17.5 points is an awful lot of points for anyone to cover. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, especially after Arizona State knocked off Oregon in that high-powered offense under Willie Totten.
Yeah.
And, that's one of those games that was a disappointing game for Oregon. Will Arizona State have a letdown after that mental high of that victory?
Yeah.
Stanford just hasn't played to the level of offensive football that people have expected from them with the two losses that they've had, the USC and San Diego State.
Yeah.
Their offense was mediocre in both of those games.
On the road, though. On the road games.
Well, on the road, but still, Charlton, to win a national championship, you have to win on the road as well as home. I mean, ask Alabama.
Yeah.
They win everywhere. Ask Clemson. They win everywhere.
Yeah.
So, good, consistent teams, Charlton, win where they're supposed to win. It's just like the USC and Washington State game tonight.
Yeah.
USC is on the road. And like I said, they've had trouble playing up in the Northwest this time of the year, not being on a Saturday night. So expect them to fall. But, this is a situation with Stanford. David Shaw's had a solid program, but people catch up to you after a while. When you play the same consistent football and you don't change and put any wrinkles in your offensive scheme.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Big C. So we'll see what happens with that game. I think Stanford wins, but 17 is a lot of points to ask for anyone to cover. Big C, Ohio State, the darlings of the Big Ten, and obviously they were considered one of the top two teams in the country when the season began. Oklahoma went in there and kind of turned things around on them. They're ranked number 9 in the country. They're 3-1. They're at Rutgers, 1-3 on the season at a 7:30 start, and I think Ohio State should roll in that one. Another big game that I want to get to your neck of the woods, number 24, Mississippi State, 3-1 on the season. At number 15, Auburn, 3-1 on the season. That game is on ESPN. And I want to ask your thoughts. Auburn's favored by 9 against a team that really shut down LSU. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Mississippi State has a solid defense. And if you go back to Auburn's one loss, they lost to Clemson, which dominated them defensively. They had 11 quarterback sacks. And Mississippi State went down to Georgia. They were favored going into Athens last week, Charlton, and was knocked off by Georgia. Kirby Smart figured out what they did offensively and was able to shut down Fitzgerald, their quarterback. But, this is one of those games that, you're looking to stay close for the SEC East title. And that's where Auburn is right now with Mississippi State. The winner of this game, Charlton, stays in championship hunt for the title in the conference. The winner of this game is just looking to stay alive to have a bowl game in the latter part of the season. I like Mississippi State rebounding off of this game. I don't know if Stidham can get it done at quarterback for Auburn. He's had a lot of problems, and he's just a pocket passer. He lacks mobility, and if Mississippi State brings a good blitz scheme, Mississippi State will walk out with a victory on this game, Charlton.
Another big game, SEC is South Carolina 3-1 at Texas A&M 3-1. And I look at my man down at Texas A&M. That's a 7:30 p.m. start. A&M's favored by 8. But so many people are trying to fire the Texas A&M coach for being 3-1, really 4-0. That touchdown against UCLA, if they would have ran the replay, they would have seen it wasn't handled. It would have been called back, and A&M would be 4-0 on this season. Just your thoughts on how important this game is for A&M, Big C. Your thoughts?
Kevin Sumler's been on the hot seat ever since he's got the
for winning.
For
winning.
Think about it. The temperature in A&M is a lot different than the temperature at the University of Texas.
Where
Tom Herman followed him down there at the University of Houston after Sumler left and went to A&M. Herman can go to Texas. He'll have a long rope. He won't have the short leash that Sumler has at A&M. He had a Heisman Trophy winner with Johnny Manziel at quarterback. But, in that conference, Shelton, you're not always going to go undefeated. And they went to the SEC. Everybody knows that Alabama dominates that conference. You have a few other teams that jump up in Georgia and Tennessee periodically. But A&M is boded well being in that conference. You're not going to win a national championship being in that conference. Alabama's going to have the hold every year. But A&M has had tremendous athletes. They've had a lot of unfortunate injuries over the years. They haven't had a quarterback that's been around more than 2 seasons since Sumlin has been there. That's always a big problem in college football. You have to have a quarterback that can be around for at least 3 seasons so you can really develop your program. Manziel was there 2 years. Knight was there 2 years. And now they have a third quarterback. King was there for 1 year. That's the 4th quarterback under Sumlin. So A&M should win this game, Charlton. Just based on offensive firepower. But as we're getting to this midway point of the college football season, anything can happen.
And speaking of anything can happen, number 2, Clemson. I know you really like Clemson. Big C 4-0 this season. At number 12, Virginia Tech, also 4-0. 2 undefeated teams. 8 o'clock start on the ABC Sports. Clemson's favorite by 7.5 on the road. Big C, that might not be enough. Clemson might win by double digits. Big C against Virginia Tech. Your thoughts?
You know, Virginia Tech, Jonathan, always has that hard hat mentality as a defensive team. They come to work. They bring that lunch bucket with them.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is 2 tremendous defensive teams going after each other. Dabo Swinney, back-to-back national championship games, ACC Coach of the Year, $7 million salary now. So, you know, he's not willing to lose any of that coin, you know, and with the state of college athletics and the money that's going on, I guess I'll have to bet on Clemson on this game, Jonathan.
Hey, when they realize how much money everybody's getting in college football, I can see why a lot of people are in trouble, Big C, especially when the players play for free, okay? That free labor still poking his head up. Number 6, Washington at 4-0 on the season at Oregon State, 1-3. Oklahoma State, 3-1 at Texas Tech, 3-0 on the season. And those 2 games are Saturday. Last college football game, Mississippi, 2-1 on the season. They're at number 1, Alabama, 4-0. Now, that game is 9 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN. Bama's favored by 27.5. They've lost 2 of the last 3 times against Mississippi. Big C, your thoughts?
Yeah, but Kelly's not at quarterback any longer at Charleston, Mississippi. He's on the practice roster with the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
And, you know, they have to play mistake-free football against Alabama. Alabama's offense has been getting better and better each week under Hurd. You know, they're getting a little more in sync.
Yeah.
But they walked out game 1, Charleston, with their typical dominant defense that people didn't think the defense would be up to standard after losing 8 players to the NFL draft.
Yeah.
They haven't skipped a beat. You know, it's I'm not saying that Nick is paying players.
Right.
But he's got a whole lot of good players hanging around.
There are a lot of Mercedes-Benz dealers down there, if you get my drift, Big C. I just want to say also on the West Coast, Northern Illinois travels, they're 2-1. They travel to San Diego State, 4-0. And San Diego State, number 21 in the country. Colorado, 3-1 out of the Pac-12, playing at UCLA in the Rose Bowl, 2-2. And Cal is 3-1 there at Oregon, also 3-1 in the Pac-12, and that game's going to be on Saturday. Big C, Russell Westbrook in the NBA signs the biggest contract ever, 5-year, $205 million extension. I mean, he may have made more money in college, but that's a lot of money, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, he signed that max contract extension, Charleston. Everybody was talking about he was going. You know, and when you think about the ironic this other day, there's 2 people that was kind of, you know, drug under the bus today. Yeah. Today is actually Kevin Durant's birthday.
Oh, yeah. So happy birthday, Kevin.
He signed his contract on Kevin Durant's birthday.
Yeah.
He also signed his contract where, you know, everyone figured he would be with the Lakers next year.
Yeah.
So that's off the table.
Yeah.
So you got after 2 of them today. But think about this, Charlton. You know, you think about Oklahoma City. They actually have a big 3. Now that you have Paul George, Carmelo Anthony, they have some offensive firepower. When you look, you can have 3 players, Charlton, that are 20-point-a-game scorers. Yeah. Now, this is the same way that the Miami Heat was built. Yeah. When you look at it. When the big 3 went to Miami, all of them were 20-point-a-game scorers. Yeah. And so, not Kevin Durant, but Russell Westbrook now has to learn to defer the ball a little bit. Yeah. And if you can get the same Carmelo Anthony that you would get in the Olympics that was used to playing with All-Stars, and when he plays with All-Stars, all of a sudden his offensive firepower steps up. Yeah. They can be a very formidable opponent in the West. You think how this team is built. All of a sudden, they're the second-best team in the West now, Charlton. Yeah. They're not the 8th. They're the second-best team in the West because they just surpassed Houston in talent because nobody's going to win with just 2 point guards, Charlton, and no one else. Yeah. You look at Portland, they surpassed them. San Antonio is a team that is rebuilding. Yep. You know, you only have Kawhi Leonard. Everybody else is old on using Geritol. But this is a team that can challenge Golden State now. You know, you have the tools in place. Yeah. When you look at the physical matchup between the teams, they match up. Who are you going to put Draymond Green on? Are you going to put him on George or are you going to put him on Anthony? Yeah. That's a good point. You know who no one can cover, Westbrook. Yeah. You know, he either takes himself out of the game or he shoots you out of the game. That's true. The big guy, Adams, in the middle. This is a tremendous team, and with Russell and his $205 million, he has to become unselfish now that he has the money. Yep, that's a very good point. Speaking of money, I want to say sports is a $1 billion industry. Boys and girls sports
is the foundation for this billion-dollar industry. And for every athletic event, you need athletic and event insurance. We work with Ben and Mark. They've been around half a century. They work with pro athletes, your collegiate teams, your high school teams, even your mom and pop soccer leagues. When you reach out to them, let them know Big C sent you. Big C on to the NFL. A lot of good games to get through here. The Saints 1-2 on the season with a $100 million quarterback in Drew Brees at the Dolphins, or the versus the Dolphins. And that game, they're also 1-1. That game's Sunday, 9:30 a.m. at Wembley Stadium in London, England. So I know a lot of people are going to be a little exhausted from all the travel. Kevin Burkhardt, Charles Davis, Pam Oliver with the play-by-play. It's a long way to fly to have quarterbacks that have one win combined, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, you know, and you think about it,
two great quarterbacks in this game. Obviously, people know Drew Brees. He's going to throw the football. And I guess they woke up Jay Cutler to get the plane. Could you imagine how sleepy he is in the United States? That's a long flight. You think Cutler's going to have jet lag in that start, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, you know, when
Go right ahead, C.
That the Miami Dolphins expected him to be. But he's the quarterback that the Chicago Bears let go.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they were expecting. I mean, Mike Glennon, you know, you can't tell the difference in the two quarterbacks. You know, Mike Glennon last night with the two interceptions, the two fumbles versus the Bears.
Yeah.
He reminded a lot of people of Jay Cutler. So the Bears are really in the same boat. But, you know, here it is with Cutler. $10 million to quit one job and go to another job that you can steal from. Not a bad gig.
Not a bad gig.
Drew Brees, you know, if the Saints can play some defense, Drew Brees can give you offense, Charlton, as we saw last week with Blake Bortles.
Yeah.
He looked like a pro quarterback going over to Europe. And Joe Flacco, what was he, 8 of 18, 8 of 28?
Yeah.
Just a pathetic performance for a quarterback making $22 million.
Well, that's the best they can find in the NFL, it seems. The Titans at 2-1 at the Texans 1-2. That game is Sunday on CBS Sports. Kevin Harlan and Rich Gannon have the play-by-play. You look at the Texans, they can win in the AFC South battle because they've been dominant, and they are 8-2 against the Titans in their last 10 meetings. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, this is a combination of the two most athletic quarterbacks that you'll see in an NFL game.
Yeah.
With Mariota and Watson. Watson had a pretty phenomenal game last week.
Oh, yeah.
Facing the New England Patriots. I mean, if not for another miraculous Tom Brady come from behind victory, you know, they could have pulled that one out in Foxborough.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, you know, you have to give the young rookie a lot of props and a lot of confidence building. I mean, his team is 100% behind him. You also got to lay a lot of that loss on their defense, not known to give up that type of points.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson did all you have to do as a rookie quarterback to win, but that defense seemed to be a little tired facing the Patriots.
Yeah.
This is one of those games that Mariota is trying to get back on track after Tennessee's loss. You know, they got the big running backs in Murray and Henry. The receiving core is solid. Mariota, you know, is completely healthy and recovered from that broken leg last year, Charlton.
Yeah, very good. He's a good-looking player, Big C. I really like the way he plays. Reminds me of how he played great down at Oregon. I also want to look at the Jaguars 2-1 in the season. Who could believe that? They're at the Jets 1-2. And the last time the Jaguars were 2-1, they were in 2007, and they were in the playoffs. I think a lot of people are thinking that because of the performance of beating up the Ravens 44-7, that Bortles is going to be a good quarterback. Just give me your thoughts on that game, Big C.
Well, you know, Charlton, like I said, he was out of the country, was out of everybody's mind. Even the Ravens figured, hey, he's not going to show up over here. He can't play in America. How's he going to play in Europe?
Yeah.
So they must have had too much fish and chips while they were over in England.
Yeah.
You know, and the Jaguars took them on an expedition.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is a situation that Bortles, you know, everybody keeps waiting on him to wake up, former overall #1 draft pick.
Yeah.
You notice the Jets don't have a quarterback. Todd Bowles is just sitting there almost in a lame duck scenario.
Yeah.
Everybody was thinking that Sam Darnold would be this great college quarterback this year. He's not NFL ready, Charlton. He's going to need another 2 years in college to be ready for the NFL. So the Jets might as well play one of the younger quarterbacks and get them ready, because if they don't get it done this week with McCown against the Jaguars, their season is basically over.
That's a very good point, Big C. The Panthers 2-1 at the Patriots 2-1. I remember, you know, both teams have been in the last two Super Bowls. That game is Sunday, 1 o'clock on Fox Sports. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Aaron Andrews have the play-by-play. I look at the Panthers, Big C. Their offense has 3 touchdowns and 8 field goals in their first 3 games. That's not enough to beat the Patriots. Big C, your thoughts?
Charlton, you're not playing a healthy Cam Newton. Now, you look, he and Andrew Luck basically had shoulder surgery within a month of each other, okay?
Yeah.
Cam Newton is out there trying to struggle through the pain and stiffness of having shoulder surgery. I had shoulder surgery as a lineman.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to throw the ball.
Yeah.
And you were never the same.
Yeah.
You think about having shoulder surgery on your throwing arm and you're out there throwing the football in an NFL game 5 months later, Charlton, that's a year-long recovery when you have shoulder surgery, when you have a major joint surgery. You just don't come back, and you think about how prominent that arm has to be in that offense.
Yeah.
You know, we're not seeing Cam Newton that we saw 2 seasons ago when he was the league's MVP. Plus, the offense has been watered down, trying to tell him not to be Cam, the former all-star quarterback, you know, just to be this pocket passer.
Yeah.
It's like telling a quarter horse, Charlton, not to run. Just stand on the rail and watch everybody else.
Yeah.
And so this is a game where I see the Panthers coming out 2-2.
Yep.
Because you don't have a healthy arm on a Cam Newton.
No.
And the offense without him is just not the same, Charlton.
That's a very good point. The Detroit Lions look good this year, 2-0 on the season, actually 2-1 on the season. A lot of people think they should be 3-0, but replay, we actually got it right in the game that they had played. And I'm telling you, that was a fantastic game against the Falcons. Now, they're at the Vikings this week, 2-1 on the season. And that's Sunday at 1 o'clock on Fox. Tom Brenneman, Chris Spielman, and Peter Sager have the play-by-play. It looks like Matthew Stafford was looking for his 30th career overtime, a fourth quarter win, but because of the play-by-play getting it right, a lot of people in Detroit are still smarting over that loss to the Falcons. Your thought against the Vikings, Big C, your thoughts?
Charlton, that was a tough loss, you know, for the Lions last week, you know. Jim Caldwell has done a tremendous job turning this program around. You know, he has the best winning percentage of any line coach in his early part of his career.
Yeah.
He doesn't get the credit for it.
Nope.
You know, he did a tremendous job when he was in Indianapolis, took the Colts to the Super Bowl. But, you know, he's a forgotten man because he's an African-American coach in the NFL, and he's always under fire.
Yeah.
You know, saying that the Lions are underachieving. There's not many teams that have achieved more than they have in their division other than the Green Bay Packers. The Minnesota Vikings, Case Keenum last week, looked like a world beater at quarterback. You know, over 350 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and the Vikings offense looking good.
Yeah.
But the key to the Vikings offense, Charlton, has been Dalvin Cook, the rookie running back, second-round draft pick.
He's amazing.
Out of Florida State.
Yeah.
He has been a yeoman runner for the Vikings, gave that spark that Adrian Peterson gave 10 years ago to the Vikings early in his career.
Yeah.
So that's been the key. When you have a solid running game in the NFL, you can challenge anybody, Charlton, and that's where the Vikings have been. We got a quarterback that last year was with the Rams that, you know, couldn't beat himself.
Yep.
And now he looks like an all-pro after a week with the Vikings.
And that's a funny thing, but couldn't beat himself. I know he's tried many times, Big C. A really big game coming up down south in your neck of the woods. The Buffalo Bills 2-1 at the Atlanta Falcons 3-0. The people in Detroit think Atlanta's 2-1 also, but they're 3-0 in the season thanks to replay getting it right. Sunday 1 o'clock Eastern Time. The CBS Sports Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, and Jamie Erdahl have the play-by-play. You have Matt Ryan, who's really on top of his game. Tyrod Taylor for the Bills. He's only completing 77% of his passes for 2 touchdowns. In a 26-16 upset of Denver. Your thoughts on them being able to go into the Dome and knock off another top team, Big C, your thoughts?
Well, you think about the Falcons, Charlton, and they're a perplexed team. They're 3-0.
Yeah,
but
luckily.
They could easily be 1-2.
Yep.
I mean, without a miraculous win against the Bears in Week 1.
Yep.
And then the controversial win in Detroit last week, Charlton.
Yeah.
This is a team that, you know, has not separated.
Yeah.
This is a team that last year in the fourth quarter was giving up big leads. 5 games last year, Charlton. They gave up the lead in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And they've been doing the same thing here in the early part of this year. This is a team that you got to lead at halftime. You got to learn how to put a team away.
Yeah, you got to do that.
The Falcons haven't learned how to do that yet.
No.
So, you know, this is a team that always sits there that leaves himself on the hook.
Yeah.
If this game is close, there's no reason why the Buffalo Bills can't walk into Atlanta and shock them, Charlton.
I tell you, they're looking forward to doing that. The Steelers 2-1 on the season at the Ravens, a big rivalry in their division. Sunday, 1 o'clock on CBS. Iron Eagle, the great Dan Fouts, and Evan Washburn have the play-by-play. And you think about the Steelers, and you think about Le'Veon Bell and how he was holding out of camp, and Big Ben Roethlisberger. The Ravens, they've shown they could get blown out by Jacksonville. I don't think they have much of a chance against the Steelers, even though they're going to be at home. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, the Steelers, Charlton, ironically, have lost their last 5 games against the Ravens.
Yeah.
The last Steelers quarterback to beat the Ravens was Charlie Batch, okay?
Wow.
4 years ago. It's been a minute since they've done that.
Yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger contemplated the whole offseason about retirement.
Yeah.
I don't know if he showed up. He might still be in retirement after the way he's been playing.
He and Jay Cutler, huh?
Seem to have that spark at quarterback.
Yeah.
But if Ben can't make it happen this week against the Ravens after the Ravens were drubbed last week by the Jacksonville Jaguars and Joe Flacco only completed 8 passes. But the Jacksonville Jaguars defense, Charlton, has really upgraded through free agency and the draft over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
These players are playing well together. Calais Campbell for Jacksonville did a tremendous job on the pass rush against the Ravens.
Yeah.
The Steelers are going to have to find some defense. They haven't played great defense this season. And so this is a game of 2 used-to-be great programs.
Yeah,
Used to
obviously.
be great programs. They right now are struggling for identity, Charlton. I do like the Steelers to rebound because I don't know if Flacco has it in him offensively, especially after they're going to suffer that jet lag, Charlton, coming from Europe last week.
That's a very good point, Big C. We look at the Browns and the Bengals. The Browns are 0-3. They're at home versus Cincinnati, 0-3. 2 winless teams. Sunday, 1 o'clock, CBS Sports, Spiro Dedes and Adam Archuleta had a play-by-play. If you look at A.J. Green, he's a great player, explosive player for Cincinnati, but there's something wrong with their offense. A lot is wrong with Cincinnati right now. Your thoughts against Cleveland? Can Cleveland get their first win at home against their in-state rival, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, the offense was clicking last week against Green Bay, Charlton. It just seemed to run out of gas. They got excited about having a lead and thought that was it. I think what will really help Cincinnati this week is they get their mental leader back, Vontaze Burfict.
Oh, yeah.
Coming off of his 3-game suspension. Now, when Vontaze is on the field, anything can happen.
Yeah.
It's not always good for Cincinnati. I mean, the opposing players got to keep their head on a swivel legitimately. Okay?
Yeah.
And really his suspension that he had came against Cleveland last year in a hit that over on a receiver coming over the middle that wasn't even in the play.
Yeah.
Vontaze knocked him out.
Yeah.
But, this is a guy that gives you that emotional lift defensively. And hopefully it will carry over to the offense on Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton had his best game last week
in
that loss to Green Bay. Can he keep that fire going and keep A.J. Green involved? And, they had the biggest problem with Cincinnati, Charlton, they're trying to utilize 3 running backs.
Yeah.
You got to put one guy in there and just let him shoulder the load for a game and see if he can be that guy that every down back. And that way you'd have some more consistency on offense. The defensive line, they can put on a tremendous pass rush against anybody. And so Deshaun Kaiser should be under a lot of pressure. Myles Garrett is still yet to play. I guess after he was threatened by a couple of offensive linemen in the NFL, the number 1 overall draft pick as a rookie, didn't mean that much. He's starting to remind me a lot of Jadeveon Clowney when Houston picked him 4 years ago. The number 1 overall draft pick over Khalil Mack. Is that, hey, you got to get on the field while you're doing all that talking.
That's a very good point, Big C. What might be the greatest game coming up on Sunday? The Rams 2-1 at the Dallas Cowboys, also 2-1 Sunday, 1 o'clock. And us on Fox Sports, Chris Murray, Daryl Johnson, Laura Oakman have the play-by-play. If you look at the Rams, Los Angeles, they've scored more than 40 points in 2 of their 3 games. And for a team that ranked last in scoring and last season at 14 points a game, they made a huge turnaround. Now, I know their wins that came against Indianapolis, also against San Francisco, and a shootout win up in the Bay Area. But could the Rams conceivably be going and put 40 points up against Jerry Jones' defense, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, let's look at this. Who was the head coach of the Rams last year?
Well, your friend. They let him go for a while.
Jeff Fisher.
Yeah.
Jeff Fisher, okay.
Yeah.
Now, the starting quarterback for the Rams at the beginning of the season was who?
Yeah, it's Goff.
Okay. Jared Goff couldn't even get a uniform on while
Fisher was
the head coach of the Rams, okay? And he's the number 1 overall draft pick.
Yeah.
Those 2 quarterbacks last week, Charlton, combined for over 700 yards passing and 6 touchdown passes.
Wow, that bad defense?
That lets you know how good a quarterback coach that Jeff Fisher was, all right?
Yeah.
The 2 guys that he said couldn't play, look like all-pro quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I'm starting to like what they're doing, what McVay is doing with the Rams offensively.
Yeah.
Todd Gurley has resurrected himself. Last year, we didn't even know Todd Gurley was in the NFL after being Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, he's averaging 100 yards now.
Found ways to get the ball to Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
They really upgraded their receiving core with the Rams. And so Goff has a lot more weapons this year than what he had when Fisher was there, because Fisher just had guys he liked.
Yeah.
They didn't have to be able to play football. He just liked them.
No, you like them.
But now they have some receivers. They have a tight end. They got two good wideouts when they brought in Watkins, from Buffalo, along with the kid from Eastern Washington, who has really surprised a lot of people. But Todd Gurley has been the spark to help Jared Goff out in that offense, and I like the Rams to stay on a roll, Charles.
I tell you, it's hard to outscore a team that can score 40 points. Even if they get half of that, they're going to get 20. I'm looking forward to that game. The Eagles 2-1 at the Chargers 0-3, and I think the NFL should listen to everybody. And the Chargers should open up in San Diego next year, make amends, go back and make up.
Next year? They'll be back in San Diego, Charleston, by Halloween.
Yeah, they need to. That'll
be the Halloween trick on everybody. The Chargers will show up in San Diego.
I think they get more than 22,000.
The Chargers will show up in San Diego just like the San Diego Chargers. That's how they're going to say Halloween.
That's funny. That game is Sunday, 4:05 on Fox Sports. Dick Stockton, Mark Sleth, and Shannon Spake have the play-by-play. And when you think about it, you look at what happened when the last time the Chargers are down in San Diego. They're a team that lost a lot of fourth quarter games. I mean, they were in a lot of games for the fourth quarter, a lot like this season. But they have to be dispirited to go from the penthouse down there in San Diego to kind of the outhouse or the rental property that they moved into.
Charleston, that stadium wouldn't even rank as a high school stadium in Texas.
No, it wouldn't.
No. Really wouldn't.
That's true. But you think about it, even California State football was played at Carson, the StubHub Center. It's a soccer stadium. Even California high school football teams moved their championship games out of that stadium, and the NFL says we'll play there instead.
When they started saying Carson, I thought they were talking about Ben Carson, the director of urban housing under the Trump administration. I didn't realize there was a city in California.
Well, yeah, they're down there, Big C. Obviously, the Eagles should go in there, but San Diego's going to get a win against somebody. It may as well be this week, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, you got to look at what Phillip Rivers hasn't done offensively this year.
Yeah.
Is that he hasn't been able to find completions to his teammates. Yeah. He's found a lot of opposing. He reminds me right now of Fitzpatrick last year playing with the Jets.
Yeah.
If you're wearing an opposing jersey, look, I'm throwing the ball to you.
You've been hanging out with Eli Manning too much? Is that what you're trying to say, Big C? He and Eli are friends?
Well, ironically, Charlton, the statistics are basically the same. They're averaging 2 interceptions a game.
Yeah.
And they were both taking 1 and 2 in the same draft, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
But, Phillip Rivers, he kind of lacks the drive and the emotion. You can see that in him right now, Charlton. He's not motivated. He spent his entire career playing in front of a loving crowd in San Diego.
Yeah.
He's gone to play in, was it
Carson, California. Carson, California.
About 50 miles from Los Angeles?
Something like that, yep.
So you're supposed to be the Los Angeles Rams. Chargers. But you're playing 50 miles from the city that you're supposed to be representing.
Yeah.
And you're playing 150 miles away from the city that you came from.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So you're out in no man's land, and that's what his stadium is, and you're getting less than 20,000 fans at a home game.
Yeah.
When you go to training camp, Charlton, you get that many fans at training camp.
And the
standing around on the sideline.
The sad thing,
I can see the lack of motivation of professional athletes going to a high school facility saying, this is your new digs for the next couple of years. Yeah.
And you think about it, Big C, the stadium had as many Chief fans as it had Chargers fans, and that's just not right. I hope Goodell can do something. Sometimes when you're going down the wrong road, you don't keep driving. When you know you're going the wrong way, you don't keep driving, Big C. Some people do. But most people, they make a U-turn. Make a U-turn. It's not that far to get back to San Diego, Big C. Another big game, the Giants 0-3. We're finding a lot of bad teams on the East Coast. 0-3 Giants at the Buccaneers 1-1. That game Sunday, 4:05 on Fox. Kenny Albert, Rondé Barber, Tiki Barber, and Christina Pink have the play-by-play. And we have some nepotism going on in the play-by-play booth. Big C, your thoughts? The Giants at the Buccaneers.
Well, yeah, you got a little bit of that going on, Charlton. But the thing that I look at is the most is all these reporters calling for the benching of Odell Beckham.
Yeah.
Now, who in the hell caught the touchdown passes for the Giants last week? I'm a little perplexed on that.
Yeah, that's Beckham,
Eli Manning hadn't thrown a touchdown pass, so Odell Beckham got in the lineup, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
And people are saying that he's still the reason that the Giants are losing.
Yeah.
Because of his antics.
Yeah.
His antics are what his antics are. You bought into that when you drafted him and has allowed him to continue. But the most appalling part about his antics last week, Charlton, was the owner, Mara, coming down on Odell saying this type of behavior won't be condoned.
Yeah.
But this is the same guy that kept paying Josh Brown for beating the crap out of his wife and having 22 calls to the police department.
Well, he condones it.
Domestic violence.
He condones that.
Putting his arm around Josh Brown and embracing him.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
He's talking about suspending Odell and fining him. Yet he kept paying Josh Brown for beating up his wife, and he knew about it because he even hid Josh Brown's wife at the Pro Bowl when you moved her from the hotel where he'd already beat her up to an undisclosed location.
Yeah.
So he couldn't beat up anymore during the week of the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
And you're going to talk about fining and suspending a player for raising up his leg in the end zone.
Yeah.
But you didn't fine or suspend the player for raising up his arm, beating up his former wife, Charlton, because he was a white kicker.
And people can Google that when they get mad about people standing for the flag. Well, this guy was standing for someone beating up his wife, and no one complained. Donald Trump didn't say a thing about we need to get rid of the mayor.
He probably lived in Trump Tower. He was okay with Donald Trump. Donald Trump had to come out saying
nothing.
That's an un-American thing to beat up
women.
Okay, Donald Trump hasn't said anything about that.
Not at all.
And just like this stance against the flag, Charlton,
everybody
has this all wrong. This is not a stance against the flag. It's not a stance against
They love the flag.
You think about it. When white America becomes uncomfortable with something, it's easy to throw a couple things out there like the military, where you're against the military or you're against the flag. They won't say that it's against social injustice.
No.
Not one white reporter on television has said this is for social injustice and imperatives in America, that we don't have parity, that everyone is not treated the same. That's what appalls me the most, is everyone keeps saying this is about the flag and the military. The flag nor the military has nothing to do with the stance of Colin Kaepernick that he started some 13 and a half months ago, nor with the actions of the current players. It has nothing to do with the military. It has nothing to do with the police, other than their impropriety and disproportionate treatment of African Americans and minorities in America. And it has definitely nothing to do with the military, because what military personnel has anything to do with the NFL game? So you're not disrespecting them. You think about it. Ask yourself this question. We just came out of the summer. Did anybody say anything about any blonde white woman that was running up and down the beach with a bikini bottom that was made out of American flag? No one said anything negative, Charlton.
No.
Kid Rock performed a couple years ago at the Super Bowl. Had a poncho made out of the American flag. Did anybody say he was disrespecting the American flag even when he took off the poncho and threw it on the stage?
No.
During his performance?
No.
But, you think about people with bandanas on in NASCAR races, wiping the sweat off their head with an image of the American flag, all right? No one says that's disrespecting the flag, but an African-American takes a knee during the national anthem because someone has been disproportionately targeting African-Americans, and they say, well, he's against the military. I didn't see anybody out there fighting a war at that time, okay?
No.
I haven't.
No.
And you think about how many African Americans have lost their lives in every war, starting with the Civil War in America, Charlton. Okay? They were Buffalo soldiers in the wars against the Native Americans because they had no choice. They were soldiers in World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Korea. In the Middle Eastern war that's going on now, Charlton, African Americans have sacrificed in every war in America. So there's no disrespect as far as African American athletes towards that. What white America feels uncomfortable about is addressing the real issue. So they're trying to throw these African American athletes under the bus because they don't want to say that there's a racial and social injustice in America. Let's just say they're disrespecting the flag and disrespecting the military. You think about this. No one has said that they're disrespecting the police where the protest is against, Charlton.
That's a very good point, Big C. We all know the Kerner Commission. We hope that people can just Google that. And also, President Trump, he loves the American military so much, he took 6 deferments or 5 deferments not to fight for the country that he loves?
6 deferments from Vietnam. That's how much of a patriot
That's how much he loves. They should bring that up.
He dodged the Vietnam War on 6 occasions. Getting a deferment because his dad could afford to pay for it. All right? And so he was such a patriot that he wasn't willing to lay down his life for the cause of this country. But yet, as president, he has been very willing to send our soldiers to Afghanistan to continue fighting a losing battle.
That's a very good point.
Obama had pulled them out.
Very good point, Big C. The 49ers 0-3 on the season. They're on the road at the Cardinals down in Arizona, 1-2 on the season. Both of these programs, they were looking at playoff consistently last several seasons before they got rid of Harbaugh, and obviously the Cardinals they were right there in the NFC Championship game not long ago, and they were blown out by Carolina. But that game Sunday, 4:05 p.m. on Fox Sports. Sam Rosen, David Deal, Jennifer Hale with the play-by-play. The 49ers are allowed 30.5 points a game in their last several games with Arizona. Shanahan's era hasn't started out the way they promised us. They promised once they got rid of Colin Kaepernick, the 49ers would win games, Big C. What's going on with that promise, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, they were close, Dalton. They were close in Seattle. They were close at home last week against the Rams.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they have not been able to stop the opposing offense.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Shanahan came in as an offensive guru. They played better defense than what they've played offense.
Yeah.
But, this is a team that's going down to Arizona who had, sparks of highlights offensively last week. Larry Fitzgerald had a tremendous game when everybody thought his career might be over. It seemed to be resurrected last week.
Yeah.
But this is a game, if the Cardinals are going to get healthy, their defense has been the biggest problem for them, taking too many penalties.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the 49ers have enough experience to hold them at bay. They have a tremendous secondary in Arizona, one of the top three in the NFL. So, it's going to be a problem for San Francisco throwing the ball down the field. I like the Cardinals in this game, Charles.
The last 49er win for all the Bay Area media, the last 49er win, the last quarterback to lead the 49ers to win was a guy who can't get a job. His name's Colin Kaepernick, and he's still unemployed. The Raiders 2-1 at the Broncos 2-1 up at Mile High Stadium. I don't know why they call it Mile High Stadium. They changed the name, but we still know it's a Mile High in the area, Big Z, if you get my drift. That's Sunday, 4:25 p.m. on CBS Sports. The great Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wolfson had the play-by-play. And this is the game that's going to decide who's going to challenge the Chiefs for the AFC West. Big C, the Raiders played horrible in the game at Washington. And, the Broncos, they were beat up by the Buffalo in a game that a lot of people thought they'd handle. Your thoughts on who's going to win this game, Big C?
Well, my thoughts are on who's going to win this game. And one thing I like about this game, Charles, if Tony Romo would wait till after the play to tell us what happened with the play.
Yeah, he keeps doing that.
It takes a little bit of the luster away when you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's almost like going to a strip club. There's no surprise. Right? That's what Tony Romo gives me through a broadcast. I've seen it already. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's turn the page.
Yeah, he's eager.
Develop first.
Yeah.
I do like the Broncos at home. They have that mystique.
Yeah.
They honestly do. They were knocked off by the Bills last week.
Yeah.
But I think Trevor Siemian will rebound at home. Last year, was an up and down year against the Raiders, but this is a very balanced conference when you're looking at the AFC West. It's going to be dominated by the Chiefs.
Yep.
But the Raiders right now, they're in a little bit of disarray. They've been a little shocked. They haven't played as well offensively as we thought they would at the beginning of the season, Charlton. They haven't put up the big numbers. Crabtree was limited last week. Yeah. So, they're going to have to try to get him on track. But that Denver will bring it with the pass rush.
Oh, yeah.
That can cause some problems with Carr.
Yeah. Obviously, it's going to be a game of turnovers. Whoever has the ball the most, maybe even the team with the ball in the last 2 minutes can win that game. The Colts 1-2 at the Seahawks 1-2. Surprisingly, they're 1-2. That game Sunday, 8:30 on NBC Sports. The great Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, and Michelle Tafoya have the play-by-play. And I'm not impressed with either teams. They both have so much promise, at least leading up to the season. I think the Seahawks will turn things around, but I still believe the Rams might just win the West, Big C. Your thoughts on Seattle at home against the Colts?
This is a game about Andrew Luck, who is not playing, and you'll hear the broadcasters talk so much about that.
Yeah.
But, this is about the development of Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
This is a quarterback that can create challenges for Seattle's defense. The Legion of Boom hasn't been what it once was, Charles, and not that formidable right now defensively. They've been vulnerable in the secondary. Jacoby Brissett can create those type of problems. T.Y. Hilton can get deep on any secondary, and now that you have a quarterback that can get the ball to you, you think about it, the Colts, this is really only the third game of the season offensively. The first game they had no offense against the Rams. They didn't even have a quarterback. They just showed out there with some players. Yeah. All right? But now they got a quarterback who's actually only in his third game. Yeah. This is his preseason and season all starting at the same time. So Brissett has showed improvement in the first two games. Russell Wilson needs to find somebody to protect him,
yeah,
and somebody to run the ball. Baldwin can't do it all at receiver. Graham Steele is an up and down big target that, is inconsistent.
Yeah.
But, I like Brissett's opportunity in this game. If he can stay mobile and avoid the pass rush, they can knock off Seattle at home.
I'm telling you, that's a very good point, Big C. We have on Monday night the Redskins 2-1 at the Chiefs 3-0, playing very good under Andy Reid. Monday, 8:30 Eastern Time kickoff on ESPN. Sean McDonough and John Gruden have the play-by-play. And I look at Kareem Hunt, 538 yards in his second. It's the second highest total ever in the NFL by a first-year player. This guy can really, he's a game changer. He reminds me of maybe a Deion Sanders type performance when he's in the game, or Jerry Rice. You know you got the edge just because you have him. And then we also know they're always much maligned quarterback. But just your thoughts on the Redskins at 2-1, looked good against the Raiders. I don't think they're going to go in Kansas City and win that game, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, only Billy Sims has had more yards as a rookie in his first 3 games in the NFL. But this is the final 2 Native American teams in professional sports playing each other.
Yeah.
The Redskins versus the Chiefs. I mean, there have been a lot of backlash about Native culture and changing the names, and everyone said the Redskins, but no one even looked at the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And that's a representative of the Native culture, Charlton, of America that was, genocided out by the white Americans.
Yeah.
But, the Chiefs, Andy Reid, it will never get the credit as an NFL head coach that he deserves.
Yeah.
He went to the Super Bowl once with the Philadelphia Eagles. He went to, 4 or 5 NFC championship games consistently with Donovan McNabb at quarterback.
Yep.
But he has come into Kansas City. He revitalized the career of Alex Smith, made him a vaunting quarterback, gave him a lot of money to play the position. Alex Smith, when he came in, they said he was just a game manager.
Yeah.
He throws the ball deep now as well as any quarterback.
Yeah.
And now that you have Hunt in the backfield, Charlton, and that defense, since Ed Berry has come back in Kansas City, is just playing lights out. Now, we saw the difference last week with Kirk Cousins. He played like a guy that was making $25 million.
Yeah.
But was that a one-week wonder, or is that for real? Now, playing Kansas City, a team that can play defense, is a little different than going, having Oakland come out there and being mentally awash with everything that was going on.
Yeah.
You're going to see a different team when you see Kansas City than what you saw defensively in Oakland last week, Charlton. I feel that they will get after the Redskins and dominate this from start to finish.
Big C, a lot of good things happening in the world of sports. From golf, we have WNBA, we have baseball closing out, and the final week of the regular season. Always something good old boys down in NASCAR do as they love the American flag, even though I see a lot of Dixie flags flying down there, Confederate flags too, Big C. Back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Bondini Brown. He was Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Rumble, young man, rumble. Big C, what are you looking forward to in the sports universe?
Well, in the sports universe, Charlton, I'm going to have to go outside in the back and put some more of that basting sauce on this beer. and more,
that's not a sport.
Fire, to keep them ready, and so it can be nice and tender and moist in the morning. But I'm looking forward to just a plug for the college football, Charlton. Going to have a little bit of overload, going to have a little bit too much food and moonshine.
Oh, yeah.
But, by the time we talk on Monday, I'll bring an extra 5 to 6 pounds to the game.
You're going to be getting around like that Raiders defense back in the day when they went back to D.C., Big C. I want to say every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide. Follow Big C Sports on the Big C Sports Network, the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and the good old boys down south. We always want to tell you, there's never, ever any excuse for domestic violence. No woman should ever have to go through that garbage. If you know anyone going through it, just call 911 so she won't have to deal with it on her own. And as we tell you on every Big C Sports show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.